Good evening, everyone. Representative Sally Toon here. The special session of the legislature has just finished, and I'm just taking a few minutes to catch up with everything, and I have a moment to catch you up on what happened. As most of you know, the governor called the special session by proclamation to address election issues and coronavirus business consumer responses that the state has done in the midst of COVID-19. The discussion on the state level response to the coronavirus pandemic drew protesters to the gallery, committee rooms, putting hundreds of legislative staff and all of us at risk, the safety to follow the protocols that are in place from the health districts. We needed time to do the people's work. There were 3 election bills brought before us, 2 in the Senate and 1 in the House. The Senate Bill 1001A was a bill to amend existing law allowing clerks additional time to get ballots ready to mail out, as well as giving them additional time earlier than Election Day to count them and keep the ballots secure. The House passed a bill that would guarantee every elector would have the opportunity to vote in person, notwithstanding any state emergency. Everyone felt that a poll absolutely needed to be open. We also asked the governor in a resolution from the House side to provide some CARES funding toward the recruitment, training, and compensation of poll workers to keep those polls open. Both election bills have been signed by the governor. There was a much debated bill involving the creation of a voting center, but there were lots of questions, particularly from the House side. It did pass the Senate, but it was held in committee on the House side. I'm sure the process seems good. There's just several questions about voting with and still having to travel up to 25 miles. Even I question that one. I'm outside. There's a few flies. The last piece of legislation that we saw was on civil liability immunity for businesses. This was extremely controversial. In fact, there were 6 different drafts of the legislation. Here again, I feel the process was rushed and the research into the details was lacking. I have a fly flying around. Only a handful of people were allowed to testify, which caused some people to really disturb the peacefulness of the Capitol, as well as slowing down the process. Eventually, the bill did pass both the House and Senate. Debates were at least 2 hours long. After all of the day, it was signed today by the governor. There was an additional piece of legislation from the House, a resolution trying to terminate the state of emergency. Many voiced their opinions on this one as well. The Attorney General's office raised questions of the legality of it, as a lot of our funding for resources for PPEs for our hospitals and long-term care centers does come from the PPEs and FEMA funding that has to have a declaration of insurance, of declaration of emergency to do that. We are all proud to call Idaho home. It is an honor and privilege to be part of the process and represent our constituents, a responsibility I do not take lightly. Often this role takes courage to maintain the current laws and our constitutional oath. Our votes reflect a continued support of our district, the Idaho Constitution, and our commitment to the safety of everyone. Hope you have a good weekend. Thanks.